We are going to learn how to use this Divi Team Builder tool. That is a tool that helps to create in an easy way websites. And well, we already had this question for today. So we are going to just, I will give you an overview of what exactly are we going to do today. So for some of you that are not familiar still with the Global Minds Association, I will just give a quick overview of what is GMA. Then we will talk a little bit about WordPress and Divi, how they complement each other. Then I will give you an overview of Divi, what it is and how it works. And then I will go into the website and I will show you how to use it. After this, depending on who is here by the end, we will do it's more exercise in groups. So we are going to be able to modify the website. Okay, so that is the idea. By the end of this workshop, the idea is that you all learn how to use the basics of this tool, that somehow you contribute to the development of the website. And you all acquire a new digital skill that is going to be with the knowledge that I will give you, but also with your practical skills and working in teams by the end of the workshop. So are there any questions so far? Nope. Perfect. So first, overview. What is the Global Minds Association and why are we here? So GMA started almost 2 years ago. And it was basically an initiative of alumni from the Global Minds program, and to put together all the alumni and all the students and start working in projects, or like start working together to achieve a common goal. So with this in mind, we created the association. We came together, created a constitution, and in our constitution we have the mission to create sustainable, positive social change with the vision to create an inclusive and just global society. We have some goals in the association, and that is the things that we are in the process to work on, and hopefully in the future we will be able to strengthen this more, because again, this is a very new association. It only has 2 years. So one of the first things that we are trying to do is to create an interdisciplinary network of people that work in social science or even beyond, that are interested in working in topics of diversity and inclusion. So what this means is that you don't need to be a student or an alumni of Global Minds to be part of the association, but if you have any kind of interest in working in diversity and inclusion topics, you are more than welcome to participate in the association. And then I will mention how you can participate. So we also are working to create projects. So right now we are in the process of we have 2 project proposals that are in the process of evaluation. So we will see like how it goes for the rest of the year. We also want to through awareness, and that is a big part of what our communications committee do, to tackle any form of violence and oppressive systems, and talking about prejudice, stereotypes, and discrimination. In the future, because that is not something that we are doing yet, but the one of the goals of the association is to promote sustained social change through a combination of research, community-based approach, and policy development. Also, our goal is to cultivate partnership with other associations and organizations related to us and the topic. And we are already also in that process of creating partnerships. That is one of the things that we are doing with some of our projects, like creating partnership with other pan-European organizations already. And the main thing that we have done so far is to try to strengthen the sense of community and belonging between the Global Minds community. So giving more of support for applicants, support for current students, and support from alumni. And this workshop is one example of that we are trying to create capacity building information so people can connect with others and also learn new skills. So yeah, basically that is the main information about the association. The association has 4 main committees. So one is communication committee, and Gustavo here is the head of the committee. If you want to know more about the committee, definitely Gustavo will be the best person to reach. We also have the outreach committee, and Axel currently is our head of outreach, and also is here if you have any questions. And then we also have project management that Miguel is the actual head, but he is not here today. And then we also have a Caro, responsible of the finance committee. So these 4 committees are basically what it makes the association work, and all the work from the people in the committees, because it's not only the heads but the volunteers or the members that are part of each committee. It is on a volunteering basis, and is what it makes this work out. So if any of you here are interested in volunteering or getting more involved with the association, and somehow also with the Global Minds program, I think being part of the association and volunteering here is a good start to get more involved. If you are really interested in gaining a new skill, for example, you want to help to contribute with creating content for social media, so you can volunteer in communications. In the future, if these projects that we are working on, they get approved, then you also could be able to volunteer helping with the project, with all the project management aspects of the project. If you want to get, I don't know, experience organizing online events or events in general, you can reach at Cell, and then we will see, for example, what can we do together. So definitely volunteering is a way that you can get involved with us, and we highly encourage you to do it. In a couple months, we will have our General Assembly, and then we will have a new election of the board members and new volunteers. But anyway, if you are interested to volunteer and start volunteering soon, you can also do that. It's just to reach us in our social media, or here, for example, sending a message already to Axel or to Gustavo if you are interested. Okay, so well, that is basically the overview about Global Minds Association, and I just want to ask if you have any questions so far. Nope. Okay, nice. So first, WordPress and Divi, and I see that Georgiana is here. Hello and welcome. So I think basically most of you say that you already know what a WordPress, but I will just give you again an overview of what WordPress is. So WordPress is basically a web software that is used to create and manage websites. So it started initially as an open source to create blogs, and it was very popular. And one of the good things about WordPress is also very easy to use. And you can add different functionalities. The software itself, it doesn't have too many options, but if you make use of plugins, you can add different functionalities. I will explain you in a bit what is a plugin in case if you don't know. But the main thing that you need to know about WordPress is that there are 2 distinctions. We will call it like this. One is the front end, and the front end is what you see as a user of the website. So it's everything, the information that you see, the pages, the images, the text, it's everything you see here. But also in WordPress, there is something that is called backend, that is this that you can see in this image. And in here is the panel of control, is the dashboard where all administrators and editors can make changes in the page. So the changes that are done here in the backend are presented in the front end somehow. So I will go and later today and give you an overview on what it's exactly, what tool, in case you don't know or you don't remember. But these are the 2 main distinctions between the backend and the front end. And the backend, it will also change depending on what is your role in the page. So if you are an admin, you will see something like this. But if you are an editor, you will see less options. If you are a contributor, you will see less options. So yeah, the way that you see this backend will change depending of which role you have in WordPress. And well, so I mentioned that there are some things that are called plugins. These plugins is a piece of software that add an extra functionality to the website. So one example of these plugins is, for example, WordPress itself doesn't have an option to create a form. For example, if we want to make a survey and attach the survey to the website, this is not something that WordPress has by default, but is something that you can add with this extra plugin. So you can find a plugin that actually make a form inside the website. So that is one example. Another example is, for example, you want to add social media buttons to some of the content that you create, so people are able to share that directly in their social media. Again, that is something that is not itself in WordPress, but it's something that you can add with a plugin. So for example, people want to do marketplaces, and they want to have the option for people to make payments. That is also a plugin that you can add. So in addition to the basic things that WordPress has, you can add that so people can make payments. So those are some examples of what a plugin is, and I hope it's clear. And if for some reason it's not clear, just let me know, okay? So well, that is WordPress, and now I want to mention what is Divi. So Divi Theme Builder is a plugin, but it's a special plugin. It's more than a plugin. It's a tool that allows to create and customize websites very easily. So if you have already used WordPress in the past, you should know that there are some themes that you can use, but actually it's not really friendly to edit and make changes, and yeah, it's not that easy to make modifications with just the simple themes that comes with WordPress. But with Divi Theme Builder, it's basically the same thing that you do with Canva, and I would like to know if any of you have used Canva before. Yes, so yeah, that is why I love Canva and I love Divi, is because it's the same logic. You easily can modify and change things, change colors, modify the size. So that is basically what the Divi Theme Builder allows to do. And it have different tools and also different kind of models that I'm going to explain to you in a bit, that makes everything super easy to modify and customize. Okay, what are the benefits to use these kind of tools like Divi? First, you don't need any knowledge in coding to be able to modify and create a website, and that is something that is awesome because anyone can do it. So that is the next benefit, and that is very easy to use. So anyone, even without any previous knowledge in web development, will be able to modify and edit a website. It's very easy to customize because it has different options, so you can add easily videos, pictures, text, carousels, portfolios, like different kind of tools that will take a long time if you need to code it by yourself. And because of this, on how easy it is to customize and to add information and to edit information, it really saves time in the process of creating websites. So there are other tools that exist right now in the market. Said already mentioned, for example, Shopify. There is another one that is called Wix. There are in WordPress, there is also another tool that is called Elementor. So there are already different kind of tools. So today I'm just going to focus on Divi because basically the logic is kind of the same, especially for Wix, for example, it works in a similar way. So in general, learning how to use these tools is great because even if you don't have a technical knowledge, you will be able to modify and edit a website. So, well, now I just will give an overview of Divi. And again, I just wondering, do you have any questions so far about the difference between WordPress and Divi? No? So just to summarize, then WordPress is the website where Divi is installed to be able to modify and make everything easier when you are editing a website, okay? So, Divi. So when you go to Divi, and when you have your website, what you see is three main blocks of information. First, so for example, if you see here this main white part, we will call it section. So here inside the section, you can add rows. So for example, a row here is these two columns. So rows can have columns inside. So in this example, inside this row, we find the models. So there are three hierarchies of structures inside the builders. The section, that is the biggest one, where the rows are in, and then the models that, for example, here we have two models. One is an image model, and one is a text model, and each one of these models are in 2 columns. So I really hope you can see this right now. And for each one of these big sections, row, and models, we have settings. So all of them, they have these arrows. This implies that you can move, for example, if you want to move these text to the right, then you can just push it and move it here, and then move the image to the left. So that is something that you can do with that arrow option. Then is the settings option, and then I will, in a while, I will just show you how it works, but it's all the specific settings that it will has that specific section. So it will show us all the options to change the text, to change the color, to change the background, to change the size, so on, so on. Then we have these 2 squares, that is the sign to duplicate. So we can duplicate content. So we say, oh, I want to make this, I don't know, I want to duplicate this image and have it twice. So you just click there, and then we have, voila, we have 2 images. Then we have, I don't know if you can see here, but we have these, it's like an arrow. And this is an option that has Divi, that, for example, if you really like, I don't know, how this section looks like, then you can just click here and then save this, and then you can use it in the future for a new page. So if you just don't want to start from 0 and you just want to use the same structure that you had, just save it, and then you can use it afterwards in another page, for example, or in another part of the website. And finally, all of these also have like a delete button. So let's assume you didn't like this row, so boom, you can just use it to delete all the information here. So that is the main overview of how the visual builder looks like. But I just want to mention a little bit more about the models. So the models are very important because it's what it allows the website to have more vivid content. So the most popular models are the text models, the image models, the video models, the call to action that normally are these buttons where you say, oh, sign up here, or donate, or volunteer here. So call to action are normally buttons. Also, there are pricing tables. So for example, these websites where you are selling, I don't know, memberships, and then you have like a classification of different prices. So that is a pricing table. You also have testimonials. So for example, you want to add what normally testimonials says when you add like a testimonial, and then who say this, and then maybe an image of the person. So that is also a model that you can add to the website. They also have something that is called portfolio, where you can add projects, information, the title of the project, a description, an image, link. So all these are already like things that you can find integrated in Divi. But a part of these, there are more than 30 different models. And of course, I'm not going to give you information about each one of them, but we will go through some of them in just a second. So that was basically the main theoretical part of what is Divi and what are the main important things. But basically, I believe that the best way to learn is actually seeing how things work. So now I'm just going to show you how you can add and modify information in WordPress. So can you see right now my screen again? Yes. So again, just summarizing what I just said, we have on the one side the front end. So this is right now how the Global Minds Association page looks like. So everything, like as a normal user, you will be able to see this. So we already have a home page, an about, an events page, volunteer page, and a contact page. And I just want to say thank you again to Gustavo, because he already put some time and effort, like adding information. So at least the main information is already here. But then there are things that we will need to change, right? So for example, the colors. So the colors are to match them with our visual presence, so that are the yellow, red, blue, and I don't know, I don't remember the other the name of the other color, but that is something, for example, that we could modify in the website. Yeah, Gustavo?
Yeah, just to add, like for people who are not a part of the association, like it looks complete, but this is just a template. Like this is not tailored at all to the needs of the association. So that's why we need your help and input and ideas, because as you were saying, like it's like our main colors are blue, yellow, red, green, and this is not that.
Yes. So that was my second point today. And basically what you see here is our templates. So basically Divi has the option to just give you a template with all these main information. So as I mentioned, Gustavo already took some of the main things about the association and he put the content, but basically what we are seeing right now is the template as it was when the pages were installed to this WordPress site. Okay, so that is one thing about Divi. You don't have to start from zero and from scratch, like creating each one of the things, but you can already use a template and then start modifying the colors, modifying the content. So that is something that we are going to learn today. So yeah, basically this is how the website looks like. And this is how the backend looks like. So again, this is my admin view. So this is what I can see. So basically here in the left is the main information and the main thing that we can change. So again, if you are not familiar with WordPress, I will just give information about the main things. So for example, here in pages is where we add those main pages that you saw in the website. So for example, we have the about page, the contact page, events, the home page, volunteer page, and I was working on this draft for a page to talk about the committees. So we are going to do that in a moment, but for example, if we want to add a new page, we just click here in add new, and we can say that we are going to make people page. So we, for example, I don't know, with the page with only pictures and information about the people that has volunteered so far in the association. So we can do that. So yeah, so that is an example of how to create a page, but I just want to go back to the dashboard so I can explain you a little bit more. So that is a page here in post. So as I mentioned before, WordPress started as mainly as a blog kind of type websites. So if you, for example, if we want to add in the website a blog option or a new news option, we can use this part of WordPress to start adding content. So we want to make I don't know, news about or summaries about what has happened in the last month in the association. So for example, we can use this option to create content there, okay? And it's the same logic, add new title, and then we are able to edit. Here in media, we have basically the summary of all the images and material that we have uploaded so far or that is available in the website. Then here in comments is more about for those blogs, for example, and we also can have an overview on who is commenting. We can delete, we can like manage and monitor those like the use of those comments. But that is mainly when we have blogs and we have that option for people to comment. Here in appearance, normally in WordPress, this is a big part of WordPress, because here's where you can customize the themes that you use normally with WordPress. You can add you can change the header, you can change the colors. So this is normally how you will modify a website and customize it if you only are using the normal WordPress site. Okay. And then here is the plugin. So again, that piece of software that you can add to modify the website. So for example, here we have the Updraft Plus plugin. So this plugin, for example, what it does is to every time, like every certain amount of time, I think it's every 2 or 3 days, it save a backup of the website. So if something happened, for example, we are going to be able to go back to the previous version. So this is one example also of what a plugin can do. And normally like WordPress don't do it by itself. So we can also add and find new plugins, and it will depend on what kind of things we want to add to the website, but normally there are plugins for everything here. Here in users is where you add and modify people and see what is their role. So if they are administrators, then they can see everything that I can see right now, or if they are editors, they probably just be able to see, for example, maybe the page option and the pause option, so they can add themselves content, for example. And then, yeah, we have here in tools, is like just, I think, this is not something that, yeah, we are going to talk about today, so I am not going to mention. We have here the settings, just general settings about the website. So for example, here, this is what it appears in this part of the website, like the Global Minds Association, the main information, and yeah, here is just basic general settings about the website. But again, we are not going to talk about it. And here below, you can see Divi. So Divi again is a plugin, but it's a special plugin, so that is why it has this special part here. And this, what you see here, is the main settings of Divi. So for example, I already came here and put the main colors of the Global Minds Association. So in a moment when I start, for example, editing, you will see that these colors are going to be always there present, so we can use them to modify the website. So here basically in this panel, control panel, you can just find the general settings and general information about the things that are related to the Divi team. But like in this moment, we also are not going to do nothing here, but that is something that you need to know where to find Divi. So Divi, you will be here. And then Divi has something that is called the theme builder. So for example, you can create templates that you can use in different pages. And for example, here, I just will give you an example. So we have, I was just creating, for example, this template for the header. So this is how the header, I modify the header to be. So here we have the social media buttons in the right, and then we have here the main pages in the middle, and then we have the logo of the association here. So because I added as a template, then this is something that all the pages will have, for example. So this is going to be just by default what all the pages will have. But if, like, I also could do it obviously one by one page by one, and add in the header, but just this make easier to apply one specific change to all the website. So yeah, this is just, it's also a little bit more advanced, and that is not something that we are going to talk today, but I think it's important to know that that is also an option. Like if you need to create different pages and you need to have a specific template for all of them, then it's just easier to create one here, save it, and then you will be able to use it for different pages in the future. So yeah, I think that is the main things that I wanted to show you, at least here in the backend. So now we can see how to edit here. So for example, if you're here in the backend and you want to go to how the front end looks like, so you just click here in GMA, and then here you will see the page. So for example, let's say that we want to edit this page. Okay, we will start editing this page. So what we can do is go here. There are two options. One, we just click here in Enable Visual Builder, or we go here again in the page, and then we say, okay, we want to edit the About page. And then every time that you open this, it will tell you if you want to edit with the Divi Builder, and you will say yes. So this is how the editor will look like. So overview about this, just because I have this here. Okay, so basically here I will just show you the main things that you will find in this builder. So here, as you see, these three dots, you will open a new menu. So basically, for example, here in this plus, it gives you all overview of the different templates that are available. So if you want to change this about page and change it completely, you can choose a new template that is already created and then start modifying. So literally at this moment, there are 2,261 different layouts that you can use as a base to create your, or to modify your page, your website. Okay, so we are not going to do that now, but it's an example of how you can use it. Okay. And then this one here, again, I already mentioned this small arrow going down, is to save the layouts. Like you can save a specific module, you can save a specific row, you can save a specific section, but you can also save a full page if you want to use it in the future for another website or for another part of your website, for example. So you can also save that to the library. Here, for example, if you want to delete or you want just to clean the layout, you can just click this option here. And then here in settings is where we are going to start seeing this small square. And this small square is where we are going to be able to start editing things on the website. So right now, these are the main settings on the page. So I'm not going to touch this one, but we will see the settings for the modules and the sections and the rows in a bit. But you know that this always is like the settings, even if it's the settings for the page or for the other parts of the website. Then here, this is amazing because is the history of changes. So for example, we delete this image and then we regret that we deleted, we can just come back here and then we will see how we will come back to the previous version on how it was before we deleted that image. So yeah, so this is also very useful. Every time that if someone makes a mistake, well, we know that there is a way to solve it. And then here, lastly, this one, also, if you want to just download this page and then save it, and then, I don't know, upload it in another page, or if somebody sends you a template and you want to import it and upload it, you can also do that. So these two arrows, that is what it means, that you are able to export or import content. And finally, here in the right, we have, well, this is an option to find or search for information in the page. But I will focus on this one because this one is a good overview of how the website looks like. So for example, here we see that the mission, the section of mission, that is this blue one here, has 2 rows. That is this one, and this row has 3 columns, that is this column, this column, this column. So in here, for example, we can access to eliminate a section, eliminate the row, like all these green part, we will eliminate it if we press this. We can do that, for example. We eliminate it, and then we say, oh no, I want to go back to how it was. So yeah, we can just press the history and change it. Or we can, for example, here also we say, oh, I like, I don't know, or vision. So I would just want to duplicate it. So you can do that. So now we have 4 columns. So we duplicate this mission thing. But we don't know 2 missions, so I will just delete it. And yeah, and then, for example, here we also can just start editing the information in the section or in the row or in each one of the columns. So for example, here, let's say we want to edit the mission. So in this purple square is where we are going to find the main information about the model that we are going to edit, and then the main settings. So normally these are like basic things that you can edit, space, the border, the shadows. You can give animation if you want to a specific model section. But you also can, if you have any knowledge about coding, you can also, for example, customize and add a little bit of code here. If you want to align, to center, like you can also add code here. But yeah, that is advanced, and also we are not going to talk about that right now, but this is an example. So in here in the layers, it's just if for some reason, for example, you cannot press or you find the button here to like edit this, then you just come here and then you can just find everything. And then yeah, it's just like it's another way to visualize the information in a more structured way. And here is just like the real visual way that how things are being modified in real time. So yeah, that's basically this. And then here in the left, we find, yeah, these again are the main settings for the builder. We are not going to move anything there. And in here, this is also another way to visualize or to check how everything is distributed in this specific template. So we can also modify things from here, but I think it's just simpler and easier to do it directly from the visual builder like this. But you know that this is just another visual representation and how you can edit, modify, delete, duplicate information. So one amazing thing about these new tools like Divi is that you can, like normally before, you used to create code for the website and then for how it looks in a computer, and then code for how it should look like in a tablet, and then code for how it should look like in a phone. But here it's very easy to modify how it looks in the computer, but also how it looks in a tablet. So for example, here, this is how the information looks like in a tablet. And also here you can see how the information looks like in the phone. So you can change everything. Like you can change the size of things, you can change the colors. For example, if you want that this instead of beige has a blue background only in the font, that is something that you can do. And it's normally advised that every time that you are making a change here in the desktop version, you double check that everything is also looking good in the tablet or phone version. So then everything is ready in any kind of device. So yeah, so that is just the main overview about these tools here. We will come back to the desktop, and I just want to know if you have any questions so far. And I cannot see you, so I don't know. Let's say, yeah, Axel, do you have a question?
No, I would say no, I don't. Everything is very clear so far. It's very similar to Canva in the nature.
Yup, yeah. So thank you, Axel. So yeah, basically everything is very straightforward. So that is just the basic overview of the builder. But now we are going to start editing. So, and for this, I need your participation, okay? So let's say we want to change the background color of this section. Any ideas of which color would you like to use? Should we use white? Should we use blue, yellow? So for changing that, for example, here, so we are going to change the color of the section, okay? So we come here to the section, we press settings, and then we come here to background. So we see that this is the color that is actually now available for the website, and that we can change it. So Axel says green, but again, this first these first 6 colors here are the main colors of the Global Minds Association. And in an ideal scenario, we will like to edit the website that it looks also like it is coherent with the colors that we have already for our logo. So let's think about, I don't know, the blue, the yellow, the red, the purple, the white, and the black. Which color do you like to use? We would like to use in the background based on those 4 colors. Maybe white. Okay, let's change it to white. Did you see the difference? It's so easy. So now that section, this first part is white. You see? So it was very easy to do. So for example, we want to make this who we are. We want to change this who we are, and we want to make it maybe bigger, and maybe also change the color, and maybe change this font size. So here, we just click in that text model, here we can change. So there are two ways to change the text. So we can change it from here and say who we are again, who we are, but also we can change it directly from here. So if we double click somehow, see, sometimes it doesn't work, but oh yeah, let's see. Oh, okay, I just deleted. But for example, yeah, it's because it's very small. That here, for example, if I want to just modify and remove association, is as simple as just to delete here. So you can see that we can just basically change the text by clicking basically association. Okay, so well, let's go back to these who we are. So what kind of things we can change here? So we can say we can add a background color to that specific square, but we are not going to do it. So just to delete that, we will just say that we want a transparent background. And then here in the design part, so we have the text option. So for example, we want to change the font type or font style of that who we are. So let's see how it looks with this one. Well, first of all, I don't think it looks that nice. Maybe this one, for example, and then we also can say, depending on the type of font, like you will find more options here. For example, if you just want that in a regular, or if you want to make it bold, but also if you want to have it, I forgot what is the name of this, italic, or if you want to have it in like everything in uppercase, or yeah, or just highlighting. So yeah, we have those options here, but I don't know if I like that font. So yeah, maybe just this in bold, and then we say that we want to change this who we are in, I don't know, blue. And then here we can change the size of that text. So for example, okay, we want to make it bigger, so we will say that we want it in 30 pixels. Maybe even bigger, and we'll say 50. So, well, that could be a way to do that. We can also change how much space there is between the letters. We can also check how much height we want, or like difference between the margins and the text and the next one. For example, here, this one, we can add shadows if we want, but I don't think it looks that nice. We can change if the text is center, justified, or yeah. Yeah, I don't think, well, that is an option. Here, yeah, well, this is also depending, like there are the options to customize the specific font size, color, font type of titles in different levels, H1, H2. H1 is the biggest title, and then from there and so on. So that is something that like is also possible, but yeah, we are not going to do that right now. But these are other things that you should know. So sizing, well, sizing I think is not that relevant here, but for example, in images it is. Spacing, let's see, heading, no, yeah, it's not that relevant here. But yeah, we can put a border, but yeah, there is no image here, so it's like there is no background color, so you cannot really see that, but I will show you in another example. So yeah, for example, here we already just change the size and of this main part here, and we change the background. So let's say we want to edit this and change this. So for example, something that we could do here is just to, I don't know, just let mission and vision and then the story, maybe put it apart. I don't know, that is something that we could do. Let's see how it looks like. Okay, so let's try to just duplicate this column, let's say, just in case, and move it. So for example, if we want to just move this to another place, let's say here, for some reason we want it here, just to have it, well, it moved here. This is a backup. We can have the history there. And then we can delete this one here. But then we want just to make sure we have only 2 columns. So the information looks better distributed. So here, which color should we put in the background for this one? Any ideas? It could be yellow, it could be blue. Purple? Blue. Okay, blue. So let's let it blue. So here, well, for example, here, I think this is an example of how we can use the borders. So right now, for example, the borders is the 20 pixels, but if we want to make it like a square, so we just delete, we just put 0 and then we have a square. But I honestly think that the borders looks nice, but let's say we put 30, it looks like this. So the more pixels you have in the borders, the more rounded the figure is. So that is an example of the borders, but you can also, I think you can also add like this kind of width to the border if we want to, but maybe it's not the best here. What else? Oh, in this case, we can also give it like this effect of going out of the screen with the shadow. So we can use one of those options, for example, and then we can make it, we can change, I don't know if you can see right now, but for example, if I move here, we give it more effect, more shadow effect or not. So let's say we want to give it a little bit of effect. So let's let it like this. And then also we can change the color of the shadow, but I think that color is okay. What else? Sizing. So here in sizing, when it asks a customer got their width, this means that the width is the distance that exists between, for example, in this case, 2 columns. So we put the minimum is 1. So I don't know if you noticed that because I put 1, then this space between both columns is less. If we put 2, it's a little bit bigger. If we put 3, I think 3 is okay. So yeah, so for example there. And then here, this equalize column heights is that it will try to always match like the how big is that row in general, regardless of how much contents are in each one of the columns. So we will just click that one here for now. This in spacing. So this is something that I also would like to clarify. So there are in spacing, there are 2 options. There is one that is called margin and there is one that is called padding. So padding is the distance that exists between an object. So let's say we put 0. What happened here? So I don't know if you notice, but now that I put 0, so there is no space between the border of that square and the visuals or the text, for example. So if you want to make it bigger, let's say again, I think it was 30 before, 40. It was 40, so that is now we can see that there is a space between that image, for example, and this border. And we can do that on top, or for example, if we click here, the same pixels that we apply in the top or in the bottom are applied to both of them. But if we unclick this, we can say that, for example, if we only want 20 on top and then 40 on the bottom, we can also do that. But I think it's good when everything is symmetric, so we will let it like this. And also you can change the padding in the left and then the right. And I think it's nice when everything is symmetric. So let's let it like it is right now, 40 and 40. And then margin is the space that it sits between a specific model, section, or row and another element. So for example, let's see what happens if we put 0 here. Let's see. So for example, here, if we put it negative, then the space that it sits between that specific row and the next section, it also decreases. I don't know what you can see, yes. But let's say that we just wanted to put it as it was, that it was 0. So yeah, that is something. What else? Border, yeah, I think those are the basics. So for example, here in this column, so we have these images, but let's see, we can change this formation and then the image and icon. So we can change the image here. We can use an icon, let's see. Oh, yes, and then let's see this. So yeah, so for example, we changed that one and then we want to change it and use another icon. So we have some options here. I don't know, mission. What can represent a mission? An arrow, maybe? I don't know, this? No, that is like a perfume. Mission. Well, maybe a bulb could work. And then we can also change the color of that icon in here in design. So for example, we want the icon to be white, so we change it to white. And then we also can change if we want that icon there or if we want it to the left. But I think on the top looks better. And also we can change, like, if that we want that icon to be there on the left, on the right, or in the center. And I think in the left looks like nice. So yeah, I think like that. And then we can also change this icon maybe. So again, we come here, icon, and then we say we put the option use an icon, and then, but we also have the option actually to, let's go back to, okay, here as it was. So here, for example, we can use designs, image and icon, content, image and icon. So here, for example, we can also, if we want to use it's like a icon that already, or we had, for example, something, I don't know. Let's say we want to use this. We can also use that. So we can use images and add them, or we can use the icons and things that are already here in Divi. So that is also an option. So yeah, we can do that. And then here we have this video, and I think this video is like a Divi video. So we can just delete it. And yeah, just delete it from here because this is not something. And then yeah, all the row we can, sorry, here, delete it. So yeah, now we have this. And then here we have lots of things. We have the goals of the association. We have that organization of the committees and the people that are already working on the association somehow. So yeah, maybe we can think in a way that we can, I don't know, have just here a section. So for example, so that is how you edit a template, right? Maybe let me see, can you import icons from image? Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that was the actual question. So you can do that. And then, for example, how do you add something from 0? So let's try to do that. So here we can, every time that we click something, for example, this model, test model, we have the option to add a new model, or here add a new row, or here add a new section. So let's say that after mission and vision, we are going to add just a section just to talk about the goals of the organization. So normally the option that we normally use is this regular section, and then we choose in that section, the rows and how many columns do we want for those rows. So let's say that we have, how many goals we have for the association? I don't know. Let's say it was, let's say again, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, let's say 5. So maybe we can try to create 1, 3, 6 columns, and in each one of the columns add the goal, maybe. Well, we can try. And then when we create the row, we can start inserting models. So what we can do, for example, if we want, we can just add a call of action here. And this is kind of a button. We just delete this. And then, yeah, this can become easily a button, and then click here. And we can, as a button, again, we can add a link. So for example, we want to, in here, let's, well, I say that we will put the goals, but just as an example for a button. For example, we want to add a form for people to be volunteers. And they like click here so you can sign up for volunteers. So we can add the link to that form here. So every time that a person click here, then it will go to this link. And then here we choose if we want the person to just stay in the same window, or every time that it clicks this, for example, send the person to a new tab. So in that case, for example, it will be more useful to send it to another tab so the person still can stay in the website and then just go to that form, complete it, and then come back to the website, for example. So that is something. And then, well, again, for the button, you can change what here. I think, yeah, let's see background. Well, yeah. Well, in general, there are lots of things that you can change, and basically most of things are the same things. But yeah, that is one example of something you can add. You can also add a specific button. You can also add what is this? A counter of something. For example, I don't know, we are working in a project. Let's say one of our projects was accepted, and then we want to say how do you call that? Percentage of development, I don't know, project development, how do you call that? Implementation.
Progress,
yeah, like
maybe.
What, Georgie?
Progress.
I
think that's the word.
My brain is not working anymore. So yeah, so for example here, progress, and so we say, okay, the progress of this project is 50%, you know, it's something that we can add, and then again we can just change it, the color of that circle, or if we want to add a background there, remove it, I don't know, we can all do that. And then if we want to change the text, like that, then font type of that number and so on, like we all can do that. What else? Other things that you can add here. You can add comment. That is like the summary, for example, of comments or whatever, if we have a blog or something, but well, this is not really necessary. What else we can add? Oop. Okay. Let's come back here. What else? So yeah, in general, like you can find loads of different things here that you can add. Like if you want to add a video, you just click here. If you, let's say we want to add an image, what is the image one? Gallery, no, image. And then to upload image, we just go here, settings, and then we'll say we want to add, what is here? Well, the logo of the association. So yeah, we can add here. And then here again, we can change if we want the, well, in these columns are very tight, so this doesn't really move, but we can change how big it is the image or not. Oops. I just deleted this, for example. Also, if I want to make it bigger, like I also can make that changes here directly. For example, how big it is here. But this is not really recommended because like if we modify that directly here, then everything mess up when we have columns, for example. So yeah, that is something that we can also do. And yeah, what else? Images, bar counters, portfolio icons. We can add a map. We can add a person. For example, here, this is something that we can use, like if we want to create that page only for people, so we can use here and say, okay, let's add Georgiana. Oops, Georgiana. Georgiana. And position, and then she is part of the committee, communications committee. And then we can add here, this is nice. For example, her LinkedIn profile here. Well, I don't have her link for her LinkedIn profile, but we can say here, Georgiana joined the association. Georgiana, or she joined the association in 2021, for example. And then image here, we can add the image of Georgiana. I don't have it. But let's say we want to add Georgiana, so I don't know what looks like Georgiana. Okay, let's say this.
You can put a heart, yeah.
this. And then, for example, we like this, and for some reason we like this. That we want to make a background for this, and for example, yellow, somehow yellow. And then we can change the sizing, not the size, no, but the space 20, 20, and here the left 20 and 20, because right now it was very close to the borders. So we can do it like this, and then we can say that the borders, we also want something more rounded. And yeah, we can just change, these, again here, we can say that we want to change title text. I think it's that one. We want to make it bold. Yeah, and then we can change it to white. So the thing is that we can just modify and edit everything so it looks a little bit better. And then we like this, for example, and we want to do this with each one of the committee members. So we don't have to start everything from zero, but if we already create a nice one template for Georgiana, and then we can use it for anybody else, we just duplicate. And then we say, okay, we will add all the people from the committee here. So then here, Georgiana, and then we can just edit here and say Gustavo, for example, and then duplicate, and then add Cherry, for example, and then, yeah. So it's as simple as to do that, for example. So, Cherry had to. So yeah, so that is basically an example of things that you can add and how you can modify things. Is, as you notice, is very, very simple to do. And now in the last 50 minutes, I just would like to try to do like a team exercise and see if we can modify the website together. I will just stop sharing.